Hello. Hello. Oh my goodness. Oh man, it's been a while. Hello. I literally aged since I saw you last. Yes. Welcome to Friday night, everyone. A couple minutes early. I started a couple minutes early. Just, I don't know. I just decided to do it. I didn't want to wait around anymore. I couldn't wait. I waited for weeks already. Why would I wait any longer? No reason. No reason, that's what I say. Oh my gosh. All right, well, we have a lot of catching up to do. So, first of all, welcome, one and all, to Friday night. This is my little corner of YouTube. My name is Machi, and Friday nights at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, I do this thing where I go live and chat with you a little bit about, myself, but also mainly the animated cartoon that I've been making, and then I turn my camera around, and I do a little bit of drawing, usually on camera as best I can. And if you guys have questions for me during that period of time, I usually try to answer those questions as well. That's all stuff that I do in that hour. Here we are. It is 9 o'clock, and man, this has been a long week. It's been longer than a week, though, right? Because the last time I saw y'all, when was it? It was May, right? Let's see, May 22nd. So we are 1 month and 4 days since I last did a live draw. A lot has happened, and I'm sure you are wondering why. And so before I get into any drawing tonight, maybe I'll get into drawing some tonight. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just do a bunch of talking, because I haven't done that in a while, and I'm feeling like I could talk for a little bit. So I had a birthday, and I decided to take a little bit of time off from doing the live draw. If you're new to my channel, hi, welcome. Typically I do this every Friday night, but I was just about to explain to you, the viewing audience, why I haven't been doing this for the last month. So yes, this is live. You are welcome to interact with people, and I will definitely talk with you guys and engage with you. Of course, I ask that you keep it nice, right? I don't think I ask for too much. We've got Daniel Berry Sports Highlight saying, "What's up, everyone? Happy Friday." We got Froylan Rodriguez, okay, saying, "Hi, I love your art." Thank you. Really appreciate that. It's very kind of you. So last time we did this, it was May 22nd, and then I had a birthday a week after that, and I decided to take some time off. Well, taking 1 week off kind of turned into taking multiple weeks off. Why did that happen? It wasn't because I didn't want to be here with you guys. I'll tell you the real reason, and I really do toy with how much stuff how personal I should get. I mean, this is my channel, so obviously, like, being personal is okay, right? And I've been told by some of you guys that you enjoyed that I get personal like that. I wonder sometimes, if anybody really how much value it adds, but I'll do it. And if you guys like it or don't like it, I guess I'm sure you'll let me know. So I started a new job at the beginning of May. I'm not going to get too much into it, but let's just say it's a day job. I was hired. It was supposed to be for like 3 to 4 weeks. So during the month of May, I tried very hard to make both things happen, to do the live draw and to do the day job. And I really was trying. It was a challenge. By the end of May, it was looking like I wasn't going to be leaving that job yet, because they needed me more than I thought they did. And they ended up like saying, "Hey, we really appreciate the work you're doing for us. Can you stay longer?" And so then I was like, man, I am just burned out, because my work-life balance completely got thrown off. It turned into a full-time job. I wasn't looking for a full-time job. That wasn't what I wanted. Nothing against the job. It's just, years ago, I quit corporate America so I could focus on making art. That was the whole point. And so that means what that has meant has been working kind of part-time, making a lot less money, making basically just enough to sort of keep my head afloat every month and not be worried about bills. And then it would give me enough time to work on my cartoon. So that balance was working pretty well. I wasn't expecting this job to kind of show up out of nowhere. But it was a good opportunity, and I was like, all right, well, if a good opportunity is going to land square in my lap, I think I'd be silly not to at least entertain it for a little while, right? Oh, hello to Carrie V. Sims is on YouTube. Hello. Hudson Franco says, can I be mod, please? I don't have any mods, so you're welcome to hang out in the room with me, and if you see somebody who seems like a bot, I guess you can let me know, but I don't have any mods. So anyway, so basically for the last 2 months, I had a full-time job that I was never looking to find. And I've been helping them with this giant project, and we're almost done with the giant project. And so I explained to the people who are in charge of me, I said, I'm going to stay with you guys until we get this giant project done. But I'm going to let you know now, when that project's done, I'm out. I never wanted this. I'll go back to my, part-time stuff. And yes, it's not great pay all the time, but it allowed me to balance my life a lot better. It gave me time to appreciate time at home with my cats. It gave me time to visit friends. Most importantly, it gave me time to create, and that's what I wanted. And so I told them this, and they said, well, what if we asked you if you would stick around like part-time? And I went, okay, maybe I'll stick around part-time. So starting in July, now it's okay. I don't think I'm compromising anything, because sticking around part-time with them versus doing gig work, then that's fine. It's like, which one do you want to do, right? So I will trade out the gig work, or at least most of the gig work. I'm still going to help some clients that I have that are long-standing clients. I'm gonna trade that out and do part-time with this job. Oh, Samo K is here. Hello, Samo. Hello, welcome to Friday. I'm glad you're here. Nice to see you. So that's the plan. Once July gets here, I'm going to go back down to part-time, hopefully get my work-life balance back in order. I also kind of skipped my birthday this year, meaning, yes, I did celebrate with friends a little bit, but usually for my birthday, I like take extra time off, and I go and do something just for me, or I don't always do that, or I'll like splurge and I'll buy something that's a little bit more extravagant just for me, just because I want to. I didn't do any of that this year. And so my plan, at a bare minimum, I don't know if I'm going to be buying anything right this second, but my plan is to take some time off in July. I want to take like a whole week off, and I want to do nothing with anybody. Honestly, my plan is to lock myself in my apartment for a week, which means I have to go grocery shopping this weekend. But I want to lock myself in my apartment for a week, and I want to get back on track with my cartoon. I didn't stop working on it, but I slowed way the heck down. And so it has been moving at an even slower pace than usual, which has been really very torturous for me. Like I really dislike how much I've slowed down on it. But I'm gonna come back to that here in a second. Thank you to Johnny Steverson on Facebook for the thumbs up. If you guys are giving me thumbs up on YouTube, thank you. I can't see them right now. Usually that stuff shows up when I look at it later, but thank you as well. If you haven't already, if you're new to my channel and you're like, hey, I want to know more about what you're talking about here, I feel like I don't really know any of the backstory, you go ahead and go to retailsunshine.com and you can follow me for free there. You can also subscribe to me here on YouTube, and if you turn on the notification bell, you'll be notified when I do my next live video, which sometimes I do random live videos in the middle of the week. I am planning one of those very soon. where I will be trying some brand new Oreos that I've never had on camera, just because. Oh, thanks for just joining. We got somebody on YouTube who says, I just joined. MZ Sexy for Life. It's a pretty good name there. So thank you for that. I do appreciate that. So where were we? So last May, or this past May, when last I did a live draw, I was working on scene 63. Well, I'm happy to let you know. I'll be glad to let you know what I was trying to say. I've been really mushing my words recently. I don't know what's going on. I finished scene 63. I started scene 64, and I'm actually pretty far into scene 64. Scene 64 is the finale, if you can believe it. This animation that I started back in, started animating it back in May of 23. I started writing the script and recording voices and stuff. I started all that back in 2020. So this project's been going on for a hot minute. But I'm on scene 64 now, and that is the final scene of the cartoon. Now, final, you'll have to bear with me on this. Final is a word that I kind of throw around, and I don't usually mean the word final, right? Excuse me. What am I talking about? Asks MZ Sexy for Life. I'm so glad you asked. You see these drawings behind me? These drawings are from a comic strip that I started back in 2008. Well, right now, I've taken those characters and I'm animating on paper a 7-minute short, a cartoon, an animated cartoon. I'm doing it on paper, and then I scan all my drawings and I bring them into the computer and I composite them together. And so I've been working on that for a number of years now, and now I'm on to the finale scene, the last scene of the cartoon. Now, the reason why I tell you guys that finale is probably not the right word to use is because it is technically the last scene in the cartoon, but while I've been making this cartoon, I realized, oh, you know what? I want to add some stuff. So when this finale is done, I'm going to go back toward closer to the beginning of it, and there's a 15-second montage that I want to animate, and so that's going to be like 3 more scenes roughly. I have not storyboarded those scenes yet. I'm going to do that very soon, and then I'll start animating that. Now, again, that's only going to be about 15 seconds. So in theory, maybe that'll take me a month or 2 to animate. Maybe. We'll see. Probably 2 months. If I'm being kind to myself, we'll say 2 months. So I expect to finish rough animation this year. That's the plan. That is what I'm hoping for. It's my goal. It's not just a hope. It's a goal. It's an aim. I'll be trying to make that happen. I think I can do that. But then, then you might be saying, well, Phil, will you be done then? I won't be done then, because then I have to do post-production. You're asking me what did you make? I'm currently making an animated cartoon, like something that people can watch. It is focused on my characters that I have been drawing since 2008. I have been putting books out, like comic books of these characters, since 2010. I usually go to comic book conventions and I sell books there. There are stores in Austin, Texas that sell my books. So you can find my stuff around, but I sort of took a step back from making merchandise and things like that so I could make this animated cartoon, and that's what I've been doing. I'm still making it. It's not finished yet. I'll be probably working on it here in a few minutes. So if you stick around the rest of this hour, you'll probably see me doing some drawing. So anyway, I don't know what I was saying, but what was I saying? Anyway, oh yeah, post-production. So post-production, that's going to be, I don't know how that's going to work yet. I can tell you right now what has to happen in post-production is I have to add color, and I have to add backgrounds, and I have to add sound effects, and I have to add music. Now, the music, is going to be a little bit less work for me because I'm not going to be fully composing it myself. I've partnered with a film composer, and he and I are going to do what's called a spotting session, where we both watch the cartoon together, and as we watch it, we talk about like what kind of a mood do I want to create in this area, and like what kind of instruments do I imagine hearing playing, and then he goes ahead and he's going to write music for the cartoon. And the cool thing is, once I hand that off to him, and he's writing music, then I can go back to post production and do all of like drawing the backgrounds and making sound effects and doing color and things like that. And then he'll be writing the music. Well, the music will take him less time than it's going to take me to do post production. So the exciting thing about that is, at some point, as I'm doing post production, he will then send me music, and we'll go, here's what I made, and then I get to go, oh cool, let me check it out, and I'll put that music with the visuals, and I'll be able to play it and go, okay, do I feel like this does what I want it to do? And if, I mean, I assume it will. Maybe I shouldn't assume, but I assume it will. But let's pretend it doesn't. Let's pretend there's a part of the music that I feel like doesn't really quite match the energy that I'm going for in that scene. Then what I would do is I would reach out to him and go, hey, this part right here from 2 minutes and 30 seconds to like 2 minutes and 45 seconds, I want this to be creepy. I don't want it to be silly. And so then he would go, okay, and he'll go back and make those changes, right? Maybe there won't be too much of that, though. Maybe he'll kind of nail it right away. And then if he does, then I take that music track and I add it to my visual track, and then I'll have like music will be all done. So then the rest of it will be just waiting on me to do the rest of post-production. Post-production is going to be done one scene at a time. My plan is to work backwards through the film and just take one scene. And so for that scene, I will make whatever backgrounds are needed. I will make whatever sound effects are needed. And then the animated characters, if I have to clean them up and make the lines more crisp and maybe erase some of the smudging and things like that, then I'll go back into those drawings and clean those up. I don't know how much of that I'm going to want to do, because cleanup is a lot, and there are currently 3,400 images that make up this cartoon. I'm not exaggerating. I recently crossed over the 3,400 image line. By the time it's done, I'll probably be over 3,500 images, maybe more than 3,500, but it's quite a lot. I am a team of one as far as the visuals go, right? I mean, obviously music, I've got somebody else. So I don't know how long post-production is going to take, and I'll tell you part of the reason why I say that. Yes, for years I drew my comics the exact same way. I would draw them in pencil, and then I would go back in and I would use ink pens from a company called Sakura. They make the Micron pens. Perhaps you've seen them if you're an artist yourself. You know what I'm talking about. I really got sick of using them over time, because I had a ton of experiences where they were dried up almost instantly after I bought them, and it just really burned me out on that process. But when I would get good pens, I enjoyed inking. It was fun. But I would use crayon. I would use crayon to add color, a little bit of color. You can see behind me, that character right there is the main character from the animated cartoon, and that's the cover of one of my books. But you can see his shirt there. The blue is kind of like scribbly, right? Well, and then you see the dark lines. That I did all those lines with an ink pen. But then if you see the gray couch in the background, that gray I added digitally. So over the years, I kind of did this sort of amalgam of, part of it's being done on paper in real life, and then a little bit of it is added digitally. And then the text you can see there, obviously I added that digitally. I didn't hand write the text. So this new process, this new cartoon, I've decided I don't feel like I need to do it that way anymore. Animation kind of is a different animal than making comics. It requires a different sensibility if you want there to be fluid motion. And so I sort of have evolved what the series looks like through the process of making this cartoon. And I've allowed myself the freedom to, when I get to post-production, to go, what do I want to do? What can I do that'll make this feel like it captures the energy I'm going for? And don't worry about the way I did it before. Don't feel like you have to be beholden to that. For years, though, I was very rigid about it, and I really would stay very true to the plan, which isn't a bad thing. I just feel like I've evolved within the series. So when I say I don't know how long post-production is going to take, that's why I'm saying that. I don't know how I'm going to make the final cartoon look. I haven't decided that yet. And I've allowed myself to not worry about it until I get to that point. That's really what's going on. What kind of characters I'm being asked on YouTube? Well, these are characters that work in a retail electronics store. Think like Best Buy, okay? And they are dealing with each other, like their coworkers. They're dealing with annoying customers or crazy customers, mostly that. They're dealing with bosses that are kind of clueless, but very, very focused on making money, that kind of a thing. And it's based on the basically 10 years that I worked in retail electronics. It's based off of my own personal experiences, and I sometimes elaborate, make things a little bit more fantastical than they were, just for comedy sake. But a lot of the stuff I write about is about the experiences I had back then. And sometimes I'll weave things of experiences that I have now, because now I actually, in the day job stuff that I do, I'm still working in tech, and I still deal with the end user, so to speak. I still have to deal with that. So I allow myself to pull from those experiences too, even if they didn't happen back when I was in retail. It's still the same kind of stuff. So when people say to me, oh man, if you ever run out of stories to tell, don't worry, I won't. So that's the kind of characters we're talking about. And like I said, this guy here on the wall, that is a character I refer to as New Guy, because in the story he's the guy he's the new employee that just started. Fun fact: the cover of this book back here, this is a canvas print. It's not an actual physical book. I took the image from the book and I blew it up and hung it on my wall. But this book is called Orientation, and it's like an origin story for somebody that's never read my work before. When I go to conventions and people see all the different books I have on my table, people will ask me, where do you recommend I start reading? You got all these books here. I always point to Orientation. I say, just start there. It's a really good introduction to the style, to the characters, to the way the humor is. But fun fact, the animated cartoon takes place 1 week after the events of Orientation. It's not like that really matters. If you watch the cartoon and you never read Orientation, it's not a big deal. But it's nice, I think, to know that there's a little bit of a built-in timeline. So if you're somebody that likes, continuity, and you like to follow characters as they go through their lives, then I can tell you, if you start with Orientation, then you watch my cartoon, then you kind of know that that's like the order that things are happening. So I always like that stuff. That makes me get excited when I watch TV shows and things. I like to watch them in order. Carrie says, surely I'll have read it by then. Well, I can guarantee you it's not a very long read. It's told in rhyme. It's kind of like a Dr. Seuss book. And so each page is 4 lines, and the couplets rhyme. And then there's a real big image that represents what's happening in the script. So it's fun. It's a very quick read. You can read it in one sitting, but it's a nice introduction to the world of Retail Sunshine. And then the other stuff I've done in that series are like a bunch of comic strips. So the kind of thing you would see, people will refer to them now as web comics, but when I was growing up, they were newspaper comics, that kind of thing. It's not comics like superhero comics. It's comics like Garfield, if you know Garfield. Carrie says, easy to read is good for me. Good, yes. It's good for me too. I don't read as much as I used to. And I find that maybe I should be reading more because I feel like my skills are not as good as they once were. I still read articles and things like that. I do still read articles, but usually about like movies and TV shows, which those aren't very hard to read. There you go. I got some thumbs ups on Facebook. One is from David Wallace on Facebook and Nathan Bechtold. Thank you both. I appreciate the thumbs up. Thank you. I do simulcast on Facebook, but really all the cool kids are hanging out here on YouTube. That's what I'm going to say. No offense to anybody on Facebook, but this channel is where it's at. Anyway, so that's kind of a brief rundown of what I'm working on and why I've been derailed for a month. Again, I've still been working on the cartoon, just been very, very slow. Carrie just did a little dab emoji. That's cool. So what is this finale like? I'm sure you may be wondering, since I kept talking about the finale. The finale is a crowd scene. I've never truly animated a crowd scene. Not really. There's a short documentary or like self-biopic, I don't know how you want to call it, a little 10-minute film on my channel called Sparking Sunshine. If you watch Sparking Sunshine, it's like a little 10-minute video explaining how I got started making this series and how I decided to take it into animation. At the end of Sparking Sunshine, there is a like 49-second animation test pilot kind of a thing. I guess I shouldn't call it a pilot. It's like a test. It's this little thing I made in 2020, and it was basically me trying to see. I hadn't animated in years, like since college. So it was me putting myself to test, saying, I wonder if I can make something animated again. I wonder if I can do it with these characters. And I did, but I stuck very, very close to I stuck very close to the comics. I've got someone on YouTube asking me if I'm MAGA. I'm not MAGA, but I don't know why that would have any bearing on what I'm talking about right now. So there you go. I wanted to keep it very, very close to the comics, and I did. But I think the problem with that was maybe the animation's a little too rigid. If I had to look back on my work and kind of like self-analyze, it's a little more rigid than I would have liked. But I made it very much like the comics. Like that little short, I did it the same way. I did crayon, I did ink pen. It was just a little test to see if I could kind of do something that would feel like the comics came to life. So that is available on my channel. You can watch that, but just know that what I'm making now is like light years ahead of what I did in that short. Like, yes, it's the same series, but what I'm doing now is just, I have put a lot more energy into making things feel like they have life, and that they that the characters are moving a lot more freely, that kind of thing. So I'm super, super proud of, I don't say that very often, but I am super proud of the work I've done on this cartoon. Not because I'm trying to impress anybody, because I wanted to push myself. I wanted to push my own skills. I've always loved animation. I've always wanted to be part of the animation landscape. And I've done little bits of animation throughout my life. Studied it in college, and I did some little shorts in college and things like that, but I've never fully dove in and committed the way I am now. And so really I've been trying to push myself to do the best work I've ever done. And I believe I'm doing that. But it's also been very, very slow, which is fine. When the whole project is done, I'm going to sit back, I'm going to look at the whole thing and kind of assess everything, ask myself, like, hey, do I feel like I could have done anything differently? Do I want to do it again? If I do, how do I want to handle that? I do want to do it again. I already have another story lined up, but I'm just saying, like, I'm going to do a lot of self-reflection when the cartoon's done. The stuff I'm working on right now, the crowd scene, I've never made a legit crowd scene, but I mentioned Sparking Sunshine because there is kind of a crowd scene, kind of, in that short. There's like a few characters that move on screen at the same time, but it's really, really short. Like, that part of the cartoon is very short, and it's not a lot of movement. What I'm doing now is a lot more movement and a lot more characters on screen at the same time for a lot longer, or at least it's longer for compared to what I did before. So I'm trying to see if I can get 10 characters in this final scene. That's my goal. I think I'm up to like 5 right now, something like that. I'm not for sure saying it's going to be 10, but I'm trying for 10. I've got a couple more characters that I know for sure I want to have on there. And when I'm done with those, I'm going to look at the whole thing and go, do I have any room on screen? Can I add something else? I'm just sort of adding it where I go. So the cool thing is, the exciting thing about all of this is, yes, I'm still working on adding characters, but technically, even without those characters, I have a finished cartoon right now, right? I mean, it's not colored in, it doesn't have music, it doesn't have sound effects, and it doesn't have backgrounds. But you could push play and watch the entire story and experience the entire story, and it doesn't matter if I add a few more characters in the final scene. It doesn't change anything. It will change like the feeling you get when you see more things happening at once, but it doesn't change the story. So technically, I have a finished story right now, and that's very, very exciting. I do love that. I haven't sat down and watched the whole thing because I still want to finish this finale, and then maybe I'll go back and watch the whole thing. Not maybe, I'm going to do that. Of course I'm going to do that. Then the plan, like I said, the plan after that is hopefully in July, hopefully next month, I will have the finale done, and then I will jump back to the beginning of the cartoon and make my 15-second montage. I hope to start that next month. That's the plan. That's what I want to do. I'm going to push myself to do it. And I think by giving myself a week vacation where I'm pretty much staying at home, it's a staycation, and probably cleaning my apartment and working on this, I think maybe I can get there. So I'll, of course, keep you guys looped in. My plan now is to come back like I'm doing tonight and do a LiveDraw video every Friday again. I did take a few weeks off, but I'm happy to say that I think tonight is my first night back, and I'm going to try to keep it going at least through the end of the year. So I'm going to turn my screen around. I've yammered enough. I've talked your ears off. I think I needed to talk through all that personally, honestly. I think I needed to say all that. So I'm going to turn my screen this way, and I'll show you a little bit of what I was talking about. Pardon me, this is always a little bit of a challenge. One day I'll get a second camera, and I'll have it real simple, and I won't even have to move my screen. That'll be the wonderful setup at that point. Eventually I'll do that. I'm not doing that right now, but maybe this summer I'll look into that and see what it costs and see how easy it is to set something up like that. Okay, so I want to get it where you guys can. Hold on, I've got too much stuff on my desk right now. This is a bit of a conundrum. I'm trying. All right, so what I wanted to do is get my camera over here so that you could kind of see. Wait, you know what I should do? Here's what I should do. I should just turn this also. Let me do that. That would make things. Wow, why don't I do that? That would make things easier. Why would I make things easier on myself? I don't know. All right, that reminds me. I have to order paper soon. I think I wanted to wait until next week just to push it to July. I don't know why. It's a thing I like to do. If I can push something to the next month as far as making a giant purchase goes, then I try to do that. Makes things a little bit easier on my wallet. Oh, just dropped my mouse. Man, I really do need to change how I'm doing this. This is just a silly situation I have here. All right. Well, let's get that mouse over there. All right. That's pretty good. I think that's okay. So you can kind of see this character here. This guy is, I refer to him as LP, which stands for loss prevention, if you know anything about retail. The reason why the other part of his body is missing is because he's actually like peeking out from behind one of the aisles. So you're not going to be able to see this part of his body. I just drew just enough so that I would kind of have an idea of what I wanted to do with him. This is him as he's popping out from behind, and this is him as he's kind of like behind. So you can see behind here, this is my plan. It's a real rough plan. This is not actually the background. This is more like a staging area where I'm eventually going to make a background. This is just something that I drew so that I could decide where each character was going to go on screen. So I've got him over here. He's behind this aisle right here. And then he jumps out and goes like that. Hi, Avery. Nice to meet you. All right, so he pops out. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to work on adding another drawing into this little scene. See what I can do. My plan with this is to have him kind of like I want to have him turn his head the other direction, like to look this way, and he's looking to see if he can find a thief. I have a thief character who pops out moments before, like the thief pops out and looks left and right, and then LP pops out and he's gonna look left and right. So you get the idea that like one is chasing the other. But look how low I am on paper, folks. This is all I have left. This is it. This is all of it. This is probably enough paper to finish the finale. I think. I'm not certain. Probably. But it is definitely enough paper to get me through the next week. Well, I think it is. I'm pretty sure it is. So I really do need to order more paper soon, honestly. It's very important that I do that. And again, I'm up to like 3,400 images now. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm at 3,400 pieces of paper. That I don't have the answer to, because not every image is a new drawing. Sometimes an image gets repeated. But I would say I'm pretty close to 3,400 pieces of paper, maybe more. Sometimes I'll do more drawings, and some of them won't get used. So there could be more than 3,400. I don't know, but that's okay. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started on this, and let's see if I can figure this out here. How I want to do this. And I do appreciate the questions. If you're an artist yourself and you've got something you're working on and you want to talk to me about that, I would love to hear it. Usually I get students that pop in here and ask questions. I always love that. I like to know what you guys are working on. Here, I'm gonna turn the music up a little bit. Yeah, we'll go with that. And toss this up there. Yep. that. I want to change that. Let's change that up. See if I want to do this. Do a Probably do. Let's see if I can flip these around here real quick. Oh, thanks for the heart. Someone gave me a heart on Facebook. Zoe, thank you, Zoe. Appreciate that. And thanks for the like from Jackie Duquesne. Appreciate that too. Thank you very much. Let's see if I can get this. Oh, Slush says, hello there. I'm an animator just like you, but I do and make using computer like the recent seasons of SpongeBob. But I'm a huge fan of animating that I even learned how to use 3D animation. Well, that's great. I did some 3D animation back in college. I did a lot of learning about that stuff back then too. That's great. I think all animation has its place. So I am happy to have you here. Would love to hear about whatever animation project you're working on right now. Feel free to share. So you guys may be wondering what I'm doing over and over again here. If you look at, like, as I'm flipping here, you'll notice like it looks like the character is moving a little bit. I only have a few lines down, right? This doesn't look like a character necessarily, but this is how I sort of plan out where I want the movement to go, and then I just keep flipping until I feel like it's doing what I want, and then I just make sure that it's continuing the motion on the next frame. So that's how I'm doing what I'm doing, in case you're wondering. Yeah, so there you go. There's a method to the madness, I promise. That might be a little lower than I want it to be. Let's try that again. There we go. There we go. see, how do I want to have his hands? Let's switch. Yeah, we'll do that. There we go. There we go. Oh, another person has given me a heart. Thank you to Nicole Bell over on Facebook. Appreciate you. Thank you. You might be wondering why this looks different, very different from the drawings behind it. And this drawing is going to be kind of like a movement drawing, a drawing where the character is going to be propelling himself forward, and so it won't be on screen all that long. And because of that, the way it'll work is it'll create a better sense of movement by bending the shapes. So it's not meant to look as precise as the other drawings, but it's going to help with the movement. You can probably tell that from when I'm flipping the drawing, but I just wanted to explain what was going on here. When you look at it as a still image, it sort of doesn't really like make a lot of sense. You're like, what's going on in that drawing? Why does he look so different? It's because the shapes are warping with speed. Oh, another person has given me a like on Facebook. Oh, my sister. Thank you for the heart. Appreciate that. That's fun. Thank you. All right, so you can see his like he's kind of like bending forward there, and then from here he goes to there, right? So if I do it like I can kind of go backwards by kind of like it's kind of hard to flip it like that, but just trust me. Trust me, it's gonna work. should be okay if I do that. I don't want to get too perfectionist about it, but I really do want this to kind of work the way I'm imagining it. Being a little bit precious tonight, which, you know, it happens. All right, so that's probably good enough for what I was trying to do. All right, I think I've gotten a pretty good sense of what I'm doing with all of this, I think. And then I'm actually going to take these drawings off. I'm going to bring back the other one from earlier and put those over there. See if I want to do anything different with this now that I looked away from it for a minute. So I probably want to do an in-between on this one. Kind of help with that movement. He's going to have his little walkie-talkie thing sticking off of the side of his shirt. And have the little cord coming off of there. I almost forgot that detail earlier. There we go. All right, that works. That works. All right, well, this gives me something to start from tomorrow. I've got the weekend. I can see what I can do this weekend. I'd like to finish LP this weekend and then figure out start the next character and see if I can get that going throughout next week. And then we'll see. We'll see how many more characters there are going to be in this finale. It's been really, really challenging. This finale, you know, the whole cartoon's been challenging, but this scene has been challenging for me because just the sheer amount of layering involved. It's really crazy. I don't even know that I'm doing it the most efficient way. I'm just doing it the way that makes sense to me. Basically, I can tell you what I'm doing. So I create a character, create all their drawings, and then what I do is I do like a mock animation scene with them where I just try to get the timing right. And I lay out the frames, and then I go to my main timeline and I line it up and I go, okay, at what point during this final scene do I want this character, excuse me, doing whatever action that they're taking? And so then I sort of pick an area, or some characters who are just walking from like one side of the screen to the other, I just have them doing their walk the entire scene. But other characters like LP here makes a brief appearance, does their little thing, and then disappears again. So I have to decide where in that scene, and the scene is 5 seconds long, if I didn't say that already. But where in that 5 seconds do I want LP to be layered? And so I figure that out, and then I go back to all my layers, and I go, okay, got it. So he does that starting on, frame 18, and his stuff will play from 18 to 27. And so then I go, okay, got it. And then I just take each of those drawings, bring them into my image groups, and add them in one by one. And then when I push play, they are now, those images are now part of the entire scene. And so you've got a bunch of different little characters all doing their own little thing, and they're all doing it at the same time. And that's the crowd. That's the whole point of the crowd scene, is you're not meant to focus on any one particular character for the entire time. But you could, right? I've drawn all the things out, so you could watch that one character. It's really more meant to be, you look at the finale and you kind of let it wash over you, and you see a bunch of different moving parts. So that's the goal. It's kind of funny. I've told this to other people before, but I'm going to say it again. In reality, what I'm trying to do with this finale, and really with a lot of other parts of the animation, is I'm trying to animate something so that you'll ignore it. So in other words, I don't necessarily want anybody focusing on one character. They can, but the goal of it is to have all of it happening, which means you're paying attention to really not any of it. And I will know that I've done my job properly if when I look at the scene, my eyes don't really know where to look, and it's just like looks like a, you know, an anthill. Not really an anthill. It's not that many characters, but you get what I'm saying, right? You look at an anthill covered with ants, you're not going to be like picking out one ant. You're going to be just seeing all of them moving, and then you get the impression that there's a lot of activity. That's sort of what I'm going for here. It's pretty challenging though, because it's just a lot of layering. So I think when I get to working on the finale is going to be, or after the finale, when I do the montage, it's going to be a breath of fresh air, because it's going to be like no more than 2 characters on screen at any one point in time. Mary Fur over on Facebook asking me a very interesting question. Hey pal, how did you sell your storyboards? I don't know what you mean by that. I didn't sell my storyboards. I still have all my storyboards. So I don't know what you mean. I didn't sell them, and they're not for sale. I'm not selling my storyboards. I don't know. What my plan to do with the storyboards is to eventually scan all of them and make like a making of book. And in the making of book, I would like to have like a section where you can see all the storyboards. I think that'd be really cool. And then anybody can look at the storyboards at that point. So that's my plan. But I don't have them on the wall anymore because I made my way through all of them. I'm on the very last one now. But in reality, I don't even really need to look at the storyboard anymore. I could take it off the wall because I'm not really trying to. I don't need to look at it to know what to do next. I have it on my wall as sort of like a little reminder, like that's still where you are, and then when you finish it, then you can take it down. Mary Fer says, I was thinking to sell copies of mine. Oh yeah, you could sell copies of storyboards. Sure. Hi, Cannoli. Hi, little guy. How's it going? He's like, hey, Dad, are you done? You done talking to the screen yet? Yeah. All right, pal. All right, I'll be done in a minute. Hey, Mr. T-Boo, nice to see you. Tomorrow's your birthday. Happy birthday, Mr. T-Boo. Oh, my goodness. I hope you have a wonderful birthday. Yeah, Carrie. That's right. Cat in the box. Yeah, Mary, if you want to sell copies of your storyboard, I mean, I think that's a great idea. I think that would work. What price would you sell them for? If you're going to sell your originals, obviously you want to sell those for more, right? If you don't want to sell your originals, you're selling copies, I would say try to come up with some presentation. I mean, there's 2 things you can do, right? You could either make prints, individual prints, or you find a way to combine them into like some kind of a book that folds or something like that. I know, I'm right here, pal. You want to say hi to everybody? Here, come here. Come here. Oh, this guy right here. This is the world's longest cat is what this is. Oh my goodness. Do you hate this so much? You probably hate this so much. You're like, please, I don't want to be picked up. All right. Okay, I'll put you down. All right. Anyway. Yeah, but you're staying right there so I can pet you. Got it. Okay. All right. Anyway, you're welcome, Mr. T-Boo. How old are you going to be, Mr. T-Boo? You're a teenager, right? I think you're a teenager, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I'm leaning forward because he wants me to still pet his little face. So he didn't go away. He just didn't want to be up in the air. Garfield's cousin? Yeah, I have him on a very strict food regimen so that he doesn't become Garfield's cousin, if you get my meaning. So I measure the food that I give him because I don't want that. You're going to be 13 years. You're going to be a teenager. Mr. T-Boo. Mr. Teen Boo. Look at you. All right. And we've got Mary Fer Torres on Facebook gave me a heart. I appreciate that very much. Melissa Hernandez gave me a like. Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody. It was really nice to have everyone welcoming me back after taking a month away from doing this. I never meant to take a month away. I'll end tonight by saying the reason why I did really was because I wasn't drawing very much, and I was tired all the time. So I just didn't really want to be on camera, and I really didn't feel like I had a lot to show on camera, drawing wise. So it just made me feel like, why would I do a live stream? So this past month, I've just been trying to kind of chill out a little bit after work, and I think now I can start doing this again, because next week is my last full week of work, where I go in Monday through Friday, and then we've got the holiday. We got the big America's big holiday, and then I'll be back to part-time hours. So that'll be cool. All right. Anyway, you guys, it was lovely hanging with you tonight. Thank you for being here. I do appreciate all the likes and all the comments, and I will see you guys hopefully next Friday, right? Yeah, it's a holiday weekend, but we can still hang out. Next Friday is going to be what day is that? That's the 3rd. Yeah, we can do something on the 3rd, right? You guys will be around for that. I'll probably have people blowing up fireworks outside my house. But yeah, I'll see you. Let's just plan on that. Let's plan on next week, everybody. Set your calendar, and then we'll go from there. All right. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend. Be safe and make art if you're an artist. And if you're not an artist, support other artists that are independent artists. Well, you should be doing that anyway. You don't need me to tell you that. All right. Good night, everybody.